Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Simplified Computer Science Concepts by Professor Rutuja. Today we will be starting with the new lecture series of operating systems. In this session, we will be learning about the definition of operating systems and the goals of operating systems. So let us begin. So you might have heard about various terminologies or various terms such as Windows operating systems, Linux operating systems, Android operating systems, Mac operating systems, and Ubuntu operating systems. These are various examples of operating systems that you might have heard about. Android operating systems, everyone might have heard. So many Android users, phone users have Android operating systems on their phones. So let us look into definition of operating systems. So operating system is nothing but a system software that acts as an interface between the user and the computer hardware. So interface is nothing but a bridge, or we can say that it is an intermediary between the user and the computer hardware, and it controls the execution of all kinds of programs. So when this is a computer user, he or she can directly communicate with hardware, but it is a very difficult task to actually go and communicate with all that wires, and the hardware that is of the computer understands the language of zeros and ones, that is machine level language. It is difficult for the user to understand that and write a program into that. So to suffice that, or to make this task easier, an interface was developed. So let's say this interface was developed wherein, if you see over here, the hard disk is divided into some partitions, that is C drive, D drive. So these are various partitions of hard disk, and let's say if I want to save a particular file onto D drive, I have to just click on this D drive and I have to just save the file. So no need of actually performing coding and actually working with those wires. This difficult task was simplified, and this was simplified by an interface called as operating systems. So I hope operating systems concept must have been clear to you. So this operating system is nothing but an interface between the user and the hardware. Okay, so moving ahead, let us look at the structure or the components of operating system. So before starting with it, I want to make it clear that unless and until operating system is loaded into the computer, your computer will not start. There is a requirement that there should be at least one operating system running onto your computer. Going ahead with the structure or the components of operating system. So there are 4 components, starting with hardware, then comes operating system, then comes application softwares, and the last one is the users. So what are the hardwares? Hardwares are nothing but the physical parts of the machine, which provides the basic computing resources such as CPU, RAM, and input-output devices. Then comes the operating system. So operating system is, as we have discussed earlier, it is nothing but the interface between the computer programs or computer users and the computer hardware, right? Then followed by the applications. So these application softwares are nothing but they are developed to make the user's task easier. So let's say we want to save a particular file, just click on the save button in the file menu and your task is done. So in Word, Paint, Excel, all these options are available. So they define the way in which the system resources are used to solve the computing problems. So for saving a file, writing a code becomes a difficult task. So just giving a interface to that save operation, our task is simplified. So what are the examples? Browsers, MS Office, Notepad, games are some examples of application softwares. Followed by is the users. So users can be the other machines also, some other computers can be the user of one computer. So computers can be also a user. Followed by the programmers. Programmers are the one who writes the code. Then followed by operational users. Operational users are the one who maintain the operating systems and are the one who is responsible for installing it. End users They're actually the users of the applications like us. We are using those applications. So this was about the structure of operating systems, followed by real-time analogy. Now I want to explain this particular operating systems concept with the help of one real-time example that we are using in day-to-day life. So let's say this is a fan. You want to operate a fan, or maybe you want to maximize its speed or minimize its speed. So actually working on these wires, let's say we want to turn the speed of the fan to 5. Go to that socket, open that socket, do something into that wires, do the connections, change the connections as per the requirements, and again close that socket. So this is a very tedious or a difficult job for a normal user, right? So we came up with an interface for those wires. So a regulator was placed on that switch, and by just rotating that regulator, we could simply adjust the speed of that fan. So can we say that it is an interface? This regulator is an interface between this fan and these wires? Obviously, yes. And because of providing this interface, the job got easier for a normal fan operator, right? So now I want you to apply this analogy for our operating systems. Just focus on this particular regulator. We will see in the next slide. So this is normal user, and a normal user cannot directly access this particular computer hardware. So what happened was, if I wanted to access the hardware, the user had to write a program to access a memory. The user had to write a program to access input-output devices. Again, that is a very difficult task. But now when we got an option of this particular interface, wherein in the earlier example we saw that this regulator helped the user to operate a fan in an easier manner, this operating systems can play a very important role as an interface between the user and the computer hardware. So operating system is that interface which makes the user's job easier to access this particular hardware. So this is why operating system is required. Then let us go to the goals of operating system. So there are two goals of operating system. One is user friendly and the other one is efficiency. User friendly is nothing but convenient. Let us understand that. What is user friendly? The simple English meaning of user friendly is that the operating should be easy to use and easy to understand and easy to access. So let us say, for example, if you want to save a particular file onto a hard disk, there are two ways. One is to simply write a program to save that particular file. The other one is simply just provide an interface or give a save button to that file. So you can save that particular file by just clicking on that save option. Obviously, if you think which one you will get easier or which one you will find the easier, the second option. There are few users who can actually code or write code to save a file. There are few of them. So that is not a good option when we want to make a solution generalized. But the majority of the users will like obviously just clicking on the save button, right? So that is why providing the save button is nothing but providing an interface, and that is why we call this as a user friendly option. Then the second one we talked about was efficiency. What is efficiency? The term efficiency deals with the other terms such as throughput and performance. When throughput of the system is increased, the performance automatically increases. Now, basically, response time is an important keyword over here. If the response time is decreased, that means the performance increases. Let us go to the next term, that is throughput. Throughput is nothing but amount of work done in 1 unit of time. So how I'll make you understand this throughput is, let's say in 1 unit of time, if the amount of work done is, let's say 10 transactions on the database, so the throughput is 10. Simple as that. And if the amount of work done is increased, obviously the performance of the system increases. And if the performance is increases, the system becomes efficient, right? Obviously, it should be faster enough and it should be secure enough. So CPU here, one more goal of the operating system is that CPU should always be busy and it should never be idle. It should keep on doing some or the other task. And operating systems manages various input-output devices such as CPU, memory, and other hardware components as well. So by doing all this, the efficiency increases. So these were the goals and the structure of the operating systems. Thank you for being a good listener. Please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you everyone. Have a good day ahead.